Welcome back, rulers. I'm Nicole Macklin, founder of Live by the Rule, and this is the Reframe, where each week we talk in depth about our question of the week as we embark on our collective journey to empathy, compassion, and self mastery. Question 3 of our Live by the Rule 36 Questions Challenge was: before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say and why? This seems simple on the surface, but this question actually holds a key to our mission of self mastery and opens the door to a deeper discussion about communication, self mastery, and our reactions. We can all agree that for a casual call, like ordering a pizza or customer service, making appointments and whatnot, no rehearsal needed. But what about those sensitive or difficult conversations? For me, the answer to that is absolutely yes. And that's where a powerful tool called the pause comes in. The pause is actually like a circuit breaker. It's what when you're starting to feel like that emotional rise coming up inside of you, essentially that's your inner 2-year-old coming in. Your ego is like that. They say that the 2-year-olds are terrible twos because they want what they want when they want it, and they don't really care. Who doesn't want to hear it at the time, right? It's all about it's about them in that moment. And that's really what our ego actually is. It's the nature of ourselves that really causes us to focus on what we want and not really think about anyone else. And so our ego wants to react and lash out, and your emotions are basically saying, hey, look at me, like pay attention to me. And so anytime you feel like that, any sort of negative emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, depression, just general frustration, like there's something that's there that really is kind of begging for you to dive a little deeper, look a little harder into what's going on. And of course, anytime that you are about to approach a very sensitive topic, you want to make sure that you're really kind of putting some thought into what you're about to do, because you don't want to trigger an emotional reaction in someone else. So, the power of the pause is really in giving yourself time to think about where you're, like, what's your motivation? Like, what is making you do this? And sometimes you do need to have hard conversations. And I'm not trying to, deter you from that. I just think that it is worthwhile to really think about what it is that you want to say. Try and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Think about how would you react to receiving that kind of phone call, a phone call from someone talking about that particular subject. Just think through, taking some time to think through before you actually act. And that's really what the pause is all about. And exercising that muscle, that ability to really kind of think about, like, do a deep reflection within yourself, as far as, like, why is this happening right now? Does this need to happen right now? So, just something to really kind of get you to pause and think into a little bit more. So, I see I just had someone join, which is always so refreshing. So, do you ever have, I mean, it's again thinking about those situations where you really do want to put some thought into your actions and be thoughtful about your choice of words. You don't want to be hurtful um, intentionally, especially, or unintentionally, because you're just coming from a reactive space and not really thinking about what it is that you're going to say and how it's going to be received. So that's why, this question of, thinking it through, at least for me. Now, if you have a different opinion about, preparation for these types of calls and whether or not you rehearse, feel free to put in the chat and let me know your thoughts on that. I just know for me, I try to come at things from a perspective of, really just trying to give myself some time to think about how the other person is going to receive what I have to say. And if it's something that they need to hear, you definitely want to be thoughtful about how you approach it, because you don't want to just shut down before you even get started. And sometimes, if you're coming at something from an emotional place or a reactive place, and you go and you approach someone else that's has something that is going to be emotionally triggering to them, then that causes them to put up their defenses and not want to hear what you have to say. So again, another benefit to really kind of thinking through what it is that you want to say before you do it. And as I said, learning to pause not only with difficult conversations, but also just in situations in general, like things that are being challenging to you. I know I use the pause like so many times in a day. I can't even count. So many different situations. I use them for when I'm dealing with my kids. I use it when I'm dealing with my husband. I use it when I'm dealing with coworkers. I use it when I'm out on the street. I use it at the grocery store. I mean, it's like all day, every day. They say there's probably 100 times in a day that you will be faced with some sort of challenge. And so that's really 100 times in the day that you have the opportunity to put this to practice. And what you'll find is, as you start to practice it more, and as you really start to think about how the other person, just imagine it from the other person not coming at you personally. If you can do that, then you will start to see things transform in your life. And it's really just because of the way it really shifts you out of being reactive. It shifts you into being more proactive, and again, makes you just a little bit more curious. The second part to this is, after you've paused, really, and this is really the probably the biggest lesson that I learned is when you learn to actually be thankful for the fact that you're having this challenge. Like, who thinks about saying thank you, person that just cut me off in traffic? But the fact that, they're cutting you off, that means, and you're being presented with this opportunity to put the pause into practice in that moment. That is a reason for you to be thankful, because learning how to break this habit of being reactive goes very deep into uncovering who you are as a person, your authentic your true authentic self. Like I always like to say, or I think of the fact that we're sparks of the creator. The creator is nothing but pure love. And so our authentic selves, like when you really get to peeling off all the layers, that is how we are as well. It's just that over lifetimes of, dealing with drama, trauma, hurt, pain, disappointment, just all of these negative things. Like each time you have one of those situations, it adds like a shell over who your authentic self is. And so the way that you lift off those shells and the way that you really get to be in touch with who you are as a person is through your ability to put yourself in the shoes of the other person, which again is the whole reason why we got live by the rule. It's like, I wouldn't want someone to do X to me, so therefore I'm not going to do X to them. But you can't get to the point of seeing it that way until you've actually done the pause. And so that's how this is all tied together. And so each time that you are presented with some sort of challenge or some sort of something that's causing you to be reactive, when you can exercise the pause and demonstrate that you have control of your reactive nature, that's a gift. It's uncovering who you are, your authentic self. And so in that way, it is something for you to be thankful for. And so actually saying, okay, I see what's happening here. Thank you for this. And I'm not going to let this get to me this time. I'm rolling with it. It's like, and that is what self-mastery is, being able to maintain your cool, maintain your calm, stay in your light-like space, and not let other people trigger you. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's very, very hard. That's right. Not today, Satan. Thank you, London. Absolutely not today, Satan. And sometimes you just got to say it like that. Like, no, I'm not doing you today. Like, I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to go there with you. And that is self-mastery. Like, that is the definition of what being a master of yourself, a ruler of yourself is. And so again, ties back to live by the rule me. It's like it's all tied together, but it does take a lot of practice. This is not the easy button. This is not the easy path. It's actually quite difficult. And the bottom line is, if it was easy, everybody would do it, because you actually find that you feel a lot better. You feel better about yourself. You feel better about the world that you live in. You feel better about the people that you're in relationships with. I mean, you feel better when you learn how to master this. It actually changes the way that you see your world. And that is really the bottom line. You control how you see your world. Nobody else does. I tell people all the time, it's like, I could be in the room, it could be 2, 3, a group of people in the room having a shared experience, and no two people in the room are going to experience it the same way, because we're each looking at it through our individual lens. We're actually seeing it through our eyes. We're experiencing it through our ears. It's being processed in our brain. You're tasting it, you're touching it. Nobody else in the room is having that same, the same reactions, right, to that setting. And so the key to living by the rule is understanding that fact that we're all different. And we're all coming at it from our same place of, our own individual pains and traumas, and just understanding that everybody is kind of going through something. And so, give somebody, cut them some slack, help them out. You'll feel much better if you just do something to help the other person instead. Like, that's the number one thing. If you're having a bad day, things don't seem to be going your way, go find somebody to be nice to. Like, you'd be surprised at just how much better that makes you feel. And the reason why that is because that's you tapping into who you really are. So, again, not the easy button, but it is so, it's so invaluable when you learn how to do it. Like, you can't even put a price on it. There are lots of people out there that put prices on it. So lots of life coaches and, whatnot that will tell you that they have the solution for you. But the bottom line is that you have to figure it out for yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. So anyways, with that, I will wrap this up. So again, remember, all about the pause. It's all about learning to be thankful. Then you reframe it by looking at the situation through trying to put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Trying to think through things through the other person's lens. Assume positive intent. Like, I know that's a tough one nowadays too. Like, everybody thinks that everybody is out to get everybody else. And it's like, that's just generally not how it's going. So assume positive intent and then move on through the situation. And again, look for those opportunities to be kind, to share, to do something for someone else. And you'll be amazed at how your life will transform. So I encourage you to try this the next time you are feeling a very strong emotion. Take that pause. If you have any questions or you need somebody to root you on, feel free to reach out to me. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe this with someone who could use it. And thank you so much. Again, you get to rule you, I rule me. Remember, say it, I rule me, and you can choose to live by the rule. Thank you.